Welcome to the Virtual Hero series. My name is Natalie King, and I am the confidence coach for virtual assistants. And today I am delighted to introduce you to Laura Readshaw, who is a general VA, but she specializes in property and project management. Exciting. And she's based in Canterbury in Kent, beautiful part of the UK. So welcome, Laura, to the Virtual Hero series. Say hi.
Lovely to be here. Hi, Natalie. I'm trying not to get too close to the lights. How are you doing?
I am good, and I'm so excited that you could be here today. We've met a couple of times during the exciting year of 2020, and your name was brought forward when I was looking for VAs. So thank you for just saying yes, and you'll be on the show. It's really great to have you.
Lovely to be here. Thanks for having me.
So one of the things that I wanted to ask first is, let's get into the mucky to begin with, is misconceptions around the VA industry. One of the reasons I'm doing this Virtual Hero series is to show business owners and people that the VA industry is booming, it's thriving, and without it, what will people like myself, coaches, copywriters, or solopreneurs, what will they do without their VA? So this is why this has been brought about. But there's misconceptions. So what have you come across as a misconception within the VA industry?
A couple of things that have popped up for me, not kind of super frequently, but like little niggles that come up is, and kind of questions of but how can you do that, is working remotely. And I know that's now a stupid question with everyone having done that over the last year, but there is this kind of, if you're remote and you've never met, then you can't work together, and that you couldn't possibly do a good job and understand somebody else's business, and understand how they work and work collaboratively without ever having met them. So that quite often is a bit of a hurdle with certain people. Some people have jumped straight into it, with obviously kind of lockdown and COVID has actually, I think, helped that kind of attitude towards it over the last year. So if anything, COVID's actually been potentially quite nice for me as a VA, certainly, but maybe the VA industry in general, in that it's kind of starting to bash down those conceptions that you can't work with someone if you've not met them. I've not met a single one of my clients. None of my clients I've ever met in person, all over the country. Never met them in person, and I don't think I intend to anytime soon either, because they're all so far away as well, and we get just as much done over a video call and over WhatsApp and over emails and over a Trello board than we would do if we were in the office. And in fact, even more, it's more efficient, I think, because you go into a meeting, you have that meeting, and then you go and then you get things done. You're not doing all of that kind of waffling and not doing the work and just chatting about the work rather than actually doing it.
They're wasting the time with the traveling, and they may be forgetting things, or just
exactly. Yeah, you forget one folder and you're a bit screwed. And or, even if you're ill, I mean, I've got a cold at the minute, so I would not be traveling. I would not be going and meeting people and stuff. So that would screw up my plans at the minute. Whereas I can just hop on a Zoom call, and it works perfectly, and it works just as well. So that's one of them that I've come across, and I kind of just give people a bit of a side look and go, well, everyone's doing it now, and it's proven that it can work. There's so many companies, and
2020 has definitely shown that we are capable of working from home. It's quite normal, but we do have things like dogs barking or anything, but it doesn't stop you from working.
No, exactly. And I think that's really helped as well. Like there was that video that came up like 2 years ago where the guy's in a meeting and his daughter toddles in the background and starts distracting him. That was so shocking. And now everybody's just like, yeah, my cat's here. My cat's her tail's normally like bobbing around up here. I've had mummy from outside when I've been in meetings, and it's just, it happens. It's life. Everybody's got a life as well, and I think actually that's helping with that.
And it's lovely to see, like you said, life happening, and to know that you are human and not just a little robot sitting there.
Exactly. And it's nice. And I think actually I kind of have more regular meetings with my client. I actually think it helps not being local, because I've got now a meeting with one of my clients who's based up kind of in Manchester, and I would maybe travel up to see him if I was working with him kind of in an office, or even if I had someone locally that was kind of an hour away, I'd pop in maybe once a week, once every 2 weeks. Obviously there's all that travel time in between as well that you're wasting, but I'm actually more in communication with my clients by being remote than I would be if I was actually working with them, because if you're working locally, you have to go and see every client, whereas if you're working remotely, then it's then you just hop on a Zoom call, and you can hop off one Zoom call in Manchester and go on to another one that's in Somerset.
You can travel the UK without leaving your chair.
Exactly. And it just makes things more efficient. It leaves more time to do the work and do it, rather than traveling and commuting to and fro and thinking, oh, have I got everything? Do I need to take this because I'm going into the office today?
What made you become a VA then, to going from property management to becoming a VA working from home?
It's gonna sound really like a lot of VAs do it this way. I came off mat leave. I came off mat leave at the beginning of March. And then, so I was due to go back to work. I was due to go back to my job, and then COVID hit, and I got furloughed. And then, kind of as things were going, I decided actually I was gonna, because they were moving. They kind of wanted someone that was more in the office than me, and with childcare and things, and they needed me to be a bit flexible, but also have child. And I thought, no, I'm just gonna do this myself. Like, I am a virtual assistant. My boss actually suggested it to me kind of years ago about going. So my boss that I used to work with, I've known him since I was about 14. He was my dad's old business partner. And so I'd known him for years, and he kind of suggested it to me as doing it as well, or additionally, or going towards that. And I thought, actually, I'm going to do this because it's more flexible. It's more flexible around childcare, because I can set my own hours. I can work around my toddler, and I can do a wider variety of stuff with a wider variety of people. And I answer to myself rather than.
A lot of VAs have done that. I mean, not necessarily in 2020, but they have realized that coming from maternity leave and not necessarily able to go back to work, or wanting to go back to work because of the hours that they were working. Childcare is really complicated and expensive. So I think there's a lot of VAs who have potentially started their business through starting as a new mother, really. Yeah. Have you found that there's been some sort of not necessarily criticism, that's not the right word, but more the misconception again, oh, well, you're just doing it because you didn't want to go back to work and you're just waiting until...
No, my clients are actually really good. So the people that I've spoken to and my clients are really, really good about it. Like, my client sometimes will call me at sort of 10 to 5, and he knows that I'm looking after my daughter. And like, she'll be making noises in the background, and sometimes he'll go, oh, do you need to go? Do you need to look after her? You can call me back. It's okay. And they're really understanding. Another couple of my clients have got kids themselves. As well, so other parents as well. Like my best client, he's not a parent, and so he's not experienced that. But I find that a lot of people are parents, and they do understand that family is a factor. But I've not had anyone that's kind of come and gone, oh, you can't focus because you're working with a child, you're working with a toddler. I've had some comments about that from people I won't name, but of going, no, you can't possibly work when there's a toddler around. But I just, like, my normal childcare days, I normally work, she's in childcare all day Tuesday, all day Wednesday. So I drop her off. Tuesdays and Wednesdays are my full working days, and then I work around naps and when she's up. My husband's working from home at the minute, so he finishes quite early. So he then takes over. I can do a bit of work in the afternoon. So it's a lot more flexible. So I'm a lot more available to people than if I wasn't, because if I wasn't, then I would only have set hours that I work from here to here.
Are you more focused then, because you've got this half an hour time, so you are much more focused, instead of when you if you've got 5 hours, you'll fill the 5 hours, but if you've got half an hour, you'll be much more focused.
Definitely. So at the minute, so she naps 1 till 3. So Monday, Thursday, Friday, I've got 1 till 3. I've got a weekly meeting on a Monday that I do every week with a client, and then Thursdays, Fridays, if I'm working, I work literally. So I grab it, I put her down. I normally eat lunch while she's up, put her down, work. I've got 2 hours, and then I get her back up again, and I do 2 hours work. Whereas sometimes my Tuesdays, Wednesdays, I get home, make a cup of tea, I faff about, I put the washing out, I sit down, I do some work, I have a meeting, I check Facebook. Whereas those focused hours I've got 2 hours to do some work, I work, and that's it. And I can.
Well, the focused is really good. It is about focusing. So you've got your own sort of timer that you need to time management. In a little a toddler is time management. That's great. How has your confidence been throughout this whole transition process of going self-employed and creating your own business?
It was tricky at the beginning, because obviously people say, oh, how long have you been doing that? And as a new VA, you kind of think, oh, well, I've only just started and I'm just getting into it. And you think, oh, have I got enough experience? And have you, and you're kind of tentative to kind of put yourself forward. I'm very much a people person. I'm very chatty, which is what I don't actually work very well in an office, because I just yap and I don't get anything done. On my own, I get work done. So I'm very much a talker, and I like talking to people. So I'm quite chatty, and but when it comes to actually, what do you know about this? It's kind of, you've almost got to, at the beginning, you're playing a role of like, yes, I know what I'm doing, and you thinking, actually, do I really know?
To get that self-doubt in yourself.
Yeah. But it's always putting on that, it's like putting on your makeup, and you're putting on that face of like, this is what I am. And actually over the last year, that's turned into actually then being genuine. And I do know what I'm doing, and I know what I'm talking about, because I've been doing it for a year, and I've got clients, and my clients will call me up and ask for my opinion about things that for their business. And you kind of, every one of those, every time you get a phone call that goes, my business, I'm doing this, I have a question about what you think, what do you think? It kind of increases my confidence every time with what I'm doing. And I think it's always important to kind of shout about that a little bit. So like,
it is very important to shout about that.
I have a good day, or I have a good meeting, or I have something with a client, I'll come upstairs, I'll tell my husband, or I'll text my friend and be like, I had a really good day today. I had a really good, so celebrating those wins
is very important. Yeah. So do you come across, or have you experienced any sort of blocks within your confidence? Anything that sort of just makes you go?
The one thing that I'm still really struggling with and have struggled with is when people ask to quote for kind of projects and things, and I don't want to overestimating that kind of like getting that kind of like project quoting for things, because at the minute I go, this is my hourly rate and this is my retainer rate, and that's it, and I just do the work and I do it. But whereas quoting for things that I haven't specifically done that one thing before, and then being able to go, oh yeah, that's going to take this long. Some people go, oh, how long do you think that will take? Because they're paying you quite a decent amount of money to be a VA, and then they go, well, how long will that take? And that question means, how much will that cost me? I kind of go, I have no idea. We'll see. So I've done things that take half the length of time that I thought they would, and things that take 3 times as long as I thought they would. That's been a real sticking point for me.
So what do you find that helps you get over that, to combat that sort of block?
what I do is I go, oh, sometimes, most of the time with that, when people ask me that, is I kind of try and steer it towards going back to that normal, rather than creating for the whole project, and go, well, I'll do X amount of hours and then let's see where we're at after that amount of time. So I'm not sure, let's start with 5 hours, 10 hours, or whatever, if I think it's going to be a long thing.
So it's communicating something so that they understand where you're coming from, you can explain, and then it's just communicating and saying, right, this might be it, but let's give it a go and see. And I gather they feel comfortable with that because you actually communicating and being honest and just saying, I'm not sure, but let's start with this.
That's the thing, is I always try and be honest. I don't like that facade of being really businesslike all the time, because that's not me. I'm not the person to wear a suit and tie and massive heels to a business meeting and be all official. I'm very much wear a fluffy jumper to every meeting I have, and I'm usually quite and I'm more like that. So, but I'm always honest, and I like to think that being honest will pay off. And sometimes it might lose you a couple of clients because some people want someone that's really official and really businesslike. But I think most of the time, you're hiring a person, and you're not hiring necessarily, well, you are obviously hiring them for their skills, but your personalities need to match. And
Definitely.
If you're being somebody else in a meeting or with someone, then it's not going to work for either of you, because you're going to get down the line, you'll be working with them, and you think, actually, I don't like this person, or I don't. And that's not necessarily a bad thing. It's just a clash of personalities and different personality types.
You can't be a VA to everybody.
No, exactly. In which case, I think as well, having then a network of other VAs that you know as well. Like, there's a few other VAs that I know that I will recommend if it's something that's not my bag or something that's not quite fitting. Because I don't touch lettings. So if someone comes to me and goes, oh, can you do lettings? I go, nope. And because I've not done it before, I'd say, well, maybe I'm not experienced in that, so I can't do it. I can recommend somebody. But again, just being honest, because sometimes I've had a couple of people come to me where I've said that, they've gone, oh, can you do this? And I've gone, oh, I've not done that before. I'm not. They go, just give it a go, see, and let me know. And I've done a few hours where I've tried something new, and you learn a new skill. And they understand that. Because you've been honest with them up front to say that, no.
And I think that's so important. Being a business owner is being honest with clients and saying, yes, I'm 100% sure about this. This I'm not so sure about, or actually I can't do that. But here is some numbers of people who can do that, and you'll be better suited over there than with me. And I think as people. Well, speaking for myself, is you appreciate that, because then you know that you're not just a pound sign, that they're not just doing that. So we mentioned in the beginning you do property, and you've now said you don't do letting. So can you explain a little bit about what it is that you do as a VA with your business?
Yeah, so it's I do a variety. Obviously, different clients do different things, but a lot of it is kind of working with sources and working with investors as well. Mostly it's working with sources where they've got clients purchasing properties of.
So when you say sources, what do you mean by that?
So a sourcer will be someone that it's not like an estate agent. So it'll be a broker that finds properties and finds investors and then pairs the properties up with the investors. So they'll work within a certain area, so they know their area. So if working in Kent, I would be working kind of in and around Canterbury if I was a sourcer, of knowing where those good properties are. There's 2 universities in Canterbury. There's the University of Kent and Canterbury University, etc. So I know this area. So a sourcer will be kind of an expert in their area and will find properties that are suitable for refurbishment and then selling on or letting out or developing into flats or kind of commercial developments. So they then work with investors who don't know the area, who don't know what the area. They've got money to invest, but they don't have the expertise.
So what do you do? Are you the?
I I helped, so my background was helping with the purchase process of getting new clients on board with sources, having those initial conversations of how much money they had and all of that, and dealing with new investors and helping them buy the properties. So dealing with the solicitors and the brokers and booking surveys and getting insurance and doing all of that. I now help sources implement their systems to make things smoother. So I do the kind of,
so it's quite niche and quite specialized.
Yeah, it is. So I've obviously, having done the actual purchase and the process for years and helped actually doing the actual sales part of it, is now setting up those systems and kind of automating emails and going, okay, at this stage you need to be communicating with people, and you should be communicating regularly with the estate agents and getting brokers on board and things like that, and helping set up those systems to do that, because I know the lingo and I know the industry. So that's kind of what I do. Another one of my clients as well, but sort of generally around it, another one of my clients has got holiday lets, so she rents out properties through Airbnb, and I'm helping set up her system for communicating with people who want to book and then managing throughout the bookings process. So, but again, it's the background of I've done that process before.
So you sort of, like you said, you know the lingo, you know how it works, but you also said you sort of do you do sort of general admin stuff as well?
General PA stuff. So I work with, a lot of the time as well, it's property developers as well, or property investors, or the sources who need general support as well. So things like setting up direct debits and getting quotes for insurance and that general, like,
boring stuff,
VA stuff
that most business owners don't enjoy doing, but VAs are really good at it.
Love doing it. And I've actually, like, I've had people go, I've got a whole filing, like a whole box of paperwork that needs sorting. I'm like, post it to me. I love that stuff. Send it
to anybody with like admin.
Yeah,
go to Laura, please.
I love organising stuff. I'll do it for hours happily.
Yeah, there's always somebody who loves doing something that you don't enjoy.
Yeah, exactly.
So what is the sort of common stumbling blocks a VA could come across, so like a new VA or starting in business? What have you noticed?
Initially for me as well, like from obviously having started it, is getting your name out there to begin with, and it's building those relationships, and it's the networking. I remember when I started, I had no idea where to start. I didn't know what networking groups to go to, who to speak to, how to approach potential clients. I went, I don't know. And that's a big sticking point. And that's what I've heard from people that are starting, is just, where do I start finding people? I know a lot of VAs do like social media and stuff, so they've got a little bit of a step forward in that they already do social media. So you can so people that are experts in things like LinkedIn, it's much easier to kind of find, because you know how to use LinkedIn, you know how to post and social media. I hate social media.
So don't go to Laura for social media management.
No, don't touch it. And I've had people ask me about it, and I go, no. And I've got people that I'll recommend instead.
But that is great, because that's one of the things is VAs. So you might be a general VA, but you are not the same as another general VA who might dabble with social media or have a bit more of an idea, whereas you dabble in property management, which is, like you said, quite a skilled or niche thing. And so that can be quite daunting to somebody who's doesn't know it, like you said, know the lingo or anything. So where do you see your business going in the future?
When I started it, I thought, because I don't want to be full-time, because I've got my daughter, as I've said, and I don't want to be doing sort of 12 hours a day, 5 days a week, or 8 hours a day, and never see her and just be working on my business. My goal is to get up to kind of what my capacity would be. It's not necessarily full-time. Get up to capacity and then start working with associates that fill in the gaps of things that I don't do. So things like lettings and social media, and all of that, and just bringing in people as associates to help kind of expand
so
that.
fellow VAs maybe.
Yeah, exactly. Working with other VAs to obviously then I can offer a bigger variety, because I love talking to people. That's my big thing. So I'd happily kind of sit and network all day and chat to people and have discovery calls all day, and then I can offer things that I don't necessarily have offered before. So I'm filling in those gaps of things that I haven't been able to offer before, and then starting to offer that and working with other people
Sounds like a great plan that you've got.
Hopefully. So that's where I'm going towards.
Keep going, and when you've got a goal and a plan, then you just keep plugging away at it.
Exactly.
So what is the best bit of advice that you've ever been given? I
think a lot of the time it's just go for it. Like, don't be afraid. And also as well, someone told me once that everyone is as nervous behind the scenes as you are. So you're not people. That's why I hate that kind of real business attire thing of like, because you're putting on a facade, and there's not many people in life that are naturally like that. Like, one of my best friends, she works a really corporate job. She's really corporate, but she's as kind of something down to earth as kind of you wouldn't expect her to be like that. And I just think that someone told me once that said that everyone is as nervous as you are, and everyone started where you are as well. So even kind of Alan Sugar and whoever started off probably quite nervous about what they were doing and what they could offer and what they were doing, and you won't get it if you don't try and go for it. So that's
really good advice. I mean, one of the ways that type of advice has been described to me is everybody puts their trousers on the same way, one leg at a time.
Love that. Yeah.
And this was a man who gave me this advice, hence the trousers, but it's the same. It's whether you're putting on your pants or trousers or boxes or whatever they are, one leg at a time. There is no other way you can put them on. Yeah. And that is similar to what you were saying, is that everybody has had to start at the beginning. Yeah. Richard Branson had to start at the beginning, but they might seem that they've never been where you are right now, but they have been, but they've just got years experience and they've been doing it longer. That's the difference, is they've been doing it longer than you have. So that is great advice. Do you have like a top tip that you can share?
I'm trying to think now. You put me on the spot now. I'm like, I think that just go for it is just have conversations with people, and don't also as well, someone told me as well, is don't write someone off just because you can't work with them, because if they're not in your field, or they're not looking for a VA, or they don't work. So like with me, if they're not in property, it doesn't matter, because everybody might know somebody else. So maintain relationships with everybody. Obviously if you don't like them, then maybe not, but like people that you like or that you get on with, like maintain relationships with everyone. And
you never know what's going to happen.
You never know who they'll recommend or who they'll work with, and it might be a year or two down the line they either meet someone or they're working with a client who is saying, oh, I just don't have time, and they go, actually, I know someone that's a VA that can.
That's a really good networking tip for any VAs who are out there who network. It's maintain the relationships. So how can people find you?
So on my website, which is readshawpa.com, or via email, so it's laura@readshawpa.com. I'm also on LinkedIn under my name, which is down here, I think. So somewhere
Laura Readshaw.
The other way, Laura Readshaw. Find me on LinkedIn. I am not on Facebook for social, because I don't do Facebook, but I'm on LinkedIn. So you can find me on LinkedIn, or via my website, which is readshawpa.com.
Last little question. This is going to put me on the spot. So I'm a confidence coach. And that sounds really like I allow people. So I invite, it's more friendly, isn't it? I invite you to ask me any question about confidence.
I would say kind of how do you get over this of like not being able to think of something when someone puts you on the spot? How would you, because I do that all the time, and then I'm sat there with a blank on my face for ages. What would you then suggest if you're just drawing a blank?
So one of the ways to do it is the pause. Pausing is a great way to let your brain sort of catch up with your mouth, or your mouth catch up with your brain. And silence is actually something that is very powerful. So one of the things I have noticed over the year with Zoom is silence seems to be this can't have silence. So I don't know if you remember the song, silence is golden. And this is a very powerful tool, and speakers use this tool. The pause is a powerful tool. Don't be afraid of it. So if you're drawing a blank, just, you're looking at the person, because we're on Zoom. I can see you haven't vanished or hidden under the table or anything. You still then, all you can do is just like, and while you're doing that, I can see that you were thinking. You can see you taking a breath. You can be really dramatic and, oh my word, let me think. Yes, or you can do that if that's something that you'd like to do. But don't be afraid of the silence.
Yeah.
So if you're drawing a blank and you think it's like, oh my God, what do I say? Just yeah, let me think. Okay. Until it comes to you. Hopefully it doesn't take 10 minutes, but you can. And if you find this, you can just say, oh, hang on, let me just think a second. Hang on, but I can see that it's fine. If you're having a face-to-face conversation with somebody, how would you be if they asked you something or you asked them something? You normally give them that space.
Yeah.
You can do the same on Zoom. It is allowed to have that. So try that. That might help. It's just pause, breathe, take a deep breath in, breathe out slowly, and just say, hey, give me a minute. Let me just think a second. It's a natural process. So see if that helps.
Yeah. Thank you.
And I'd love to know if it works. Let me know.
I talk too much, so I think I really do need to use that as well. I used to get to my old job, because I knew my job for that long. I knew my boss for that long. He used to go, shut up, Laura. I've been talking. I'll stop now. Let someone else talk. But yeah, need to do that more often.
Silence is powerful. It's a powerful tool to use. And it's different if you're on a phone call and you can't see the person. It's like, oh my God, are they still there? What's happening? So silence on radio is not recommended.
No.
But silence when you are giving a speech or you're talking to somebody is fine. It's okay because they can see you. And this is so when you're watching something, when you're watching a movie or you're watching a program or anything, and somebody asks a question, see what happens. See how the other person reacts. And the pauses and everything else. So try it.
Yeah.
I'd love to know how it works, if you manage it. But don't be afraid to just take a breath and say, give me a moment to just have a think.
Yeah.
That's fine. Yeah.
I will do. That's good. Yeah. I think a lot of the time people are afraid as well, and me especially, being quite chatty, of leaving silences and being too quiet. So that's the thing. I've always been a bit kind of not scared of silence, but it just feels like it's awkward rather than.
And one of the one of the reasons for that is that we're in such a busy world and everything is go, 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 that we've almost forgotten to just take a pause, just take a breath, just, okay, I can carry on. But especially on Zoom, it's something I have noticed is that people are afraid of the silence on Zoom. But try it, see what happens. Let me know. Just send me a message on LinkedIn. Let me know. I'd love to know how you get on with that little tidbit.
Will do.
But thank you so much for joining me today and for sharing your story. And the great advice is well, I know that I said everybody puts their pants on the same way, or trousers. I got to forget to talk about the South African way. And it's about just people start from the same place. Yes, people do start from the same place, and just being friendly and staying connected with your connections, because you never know who they know, or down the line if they can help you or you can help them. You don't know what's going to happen. So just because you can't work with them now doesn't mean that it's not there in the future. And this has been some great advice and great tips from Laura. Thank you so much, Laura, for joining us today. And I will be sharing out your links and everything. But take care. Enjoy your rest of your day, whether it's morning, afternoon, or evening. And I look forward to seeing you again soon. So take care. Bye.